right, welcome back to Death Before Decaf. We have got a special guest on with us, Mr. Quinn.
How's it going?
It's been a long time since you were on. You were on Paranormal Bound like 3 or 4 episodes in. So, have we upgraded just a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's nice. Yeah,
Just a little bit.
Thanks for having me. By the way,
Yeah.
it's good to be here.
Yeah, we have got to jump on this whole 11 scientists deal because it is running the internet like crazy. And Rachel, that bothers me.
Yeah.
We've got it set up a way in here because we haven't fully finished the studio yet, and the candles look so good on camera, but if that sheet falls, I mean, we gonna run.
Hell no, I'm gonna put that shit out. Talking about run.
Alright, I don't think we have enough time to do all of the scientists, but I think if we hit the ones that are getting the most traction right now, which the first one is Amy Eskridge. We talked about her. She's from Huntsville, and David Wilcock, which was a YouTuber, and he was on Ancient Aliens. Anybody ever watch that show?
Yeah.
I have.
The guy with crazy hair?
Yep.
Aliens. I've seen it a time or two. It's a weird show, but I never noticed him on there. But apparently he was big on that show. He had his own YouTube channel that had 500,000 subscribers, which is nuts. I mean, it's nuts, but it's up there. And all of a sudden, he's got a mental breakdown from financial troubles, and he offs himself. What do you guys think about that? Amy was the same way.
Yeah, I think they disappeared them.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Amy had supposedly figured out anti-gravity, which would make this pen just stay there.
Yep. I seen videos of her coming out and talking about it before she died, though.
Mm-hmm.
But did she die? I think they are not going to kill someone who is of good use like that. They're going to disappear them.
What if they already had the technology? Because I've heard rumors that they've had anti-gravity technology for years.
Well, then why would they kill someone who was smart enough to figure that out instead of being like, hey, join our team or you die?
I think they figured it out already, and she was talking about it online, which is not something you're supposed to do, because that could destroy a lot of industry. Every airline.
You don't think they need the extra help, the extra mind?
I don't know. What if she wasn't willing to play the game? What if they brought her in years ago and she's like, no, I'm not joining your little club. Creepy. Because to join their club, you got to do some crazy stuff, from what I hear. You know, slaughter a chicken or a child, one of the two.
Human sacrifice.
Yeah. To join their club, you got to go through some pretty horrific shit.
I'm good on that.
No. But apparently, because she made a statement one time, if you stick your neck out privately, they'll destroy you. If you stick your neck out publicly, they'll still destroy you, but everyone will know. It just took us, 3 or 4 years to figure it out?
Right.
There's really no way that you can be safe, I don't think. Used to, I feel like you could go public with your information and you would be relatively safe.
Well, Bob Lazar did back in the 90s. He went public with it. Had he not have, he believes he would have been killed a lot sooner.
He might be a gatekeeper or controlled opposition or who knows. I mean, there's so much going on and there's so much we don't know. It's just hard to, all we can do, I feel like, is speculate.
Yeah, I mean, the only information that we get is it's never the full puzzle. It's always missing a bunch of crap. Every story that comes out, these scientists, a couple of them unalived themselves, a couple of them have never been found, a couple of them just walked into the woods and never came back. But, I mean, do you guys think they have the power to mess with somebody so bad to actually make them unalive themselves?
Who? Our government?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without ever being seen.
Yeah.
Voice control technology.
They have some invisibility thing.
Something about that ray thing that burnt Amy?
I'm not sure, but I know that they have some sort of invisibility technology.
I think so too.
Like where they would just like explore. What do you mean?
I'm not.
Like the Invisible Man.
That movie was awesome.
I am not educated enough in that to talk about it to that extent, but I know that they have that. I know they do.
Now,
There's a friend of mine has been talking about being gang stalked for years, and his family was a major part of the Hollywood elite back in the day. And this guy's mid 60s, maybe a little older than that. And he talks about the voice to skull technology to where they can actually make somebody basically go crazy thinking that they're hearing voices in their head all the time, enough to the point where, you know, you go seek help or whatever, you go through the channels, you know. And
Now, what if it doesn't work on that person?
I don't know.
just data gets logged somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, they've got their ways of taking care of people. You know, that's why I feel like it's best to, you know, stay off the grid, stay out of sight, out of mind, you know, and do the best you can with what you got without being, you know.
Okay, we're gonna have to blow them candles out.
Did that just fall?
Yeah, it did.
I'm gonna cry.
It's okay.
Sorry,
We will.
Timothy.
Yeah, guys, we got what is Timothy's
Sir Dr. Jimothy Earl Taint the Third.
the third? Yeah, he's up there. He's got a little veil over his face now, but it's all right.
He's
And
Catholic.
if you guys watching this
Muslim.
video would honestly leave us in the comments what to dress him up in, because he's just butt naked right now.
Oh my God, y'all could send us a onesie.
Yeah, you got like a crazy little onesie that has something vulgar on it.
Hmm.
I know a lot of
Oh
people
my
do.
gosh, I know Rachel has a good idea.
What?
The Avatar.
Yeah, can we get that in onesie style?
Right. Oops. Y'all
All
are
right.
going girls, y'all shouldn't have brought that shit up.
Okay, so people are talking more about Amy Eskridge, whether she did unalive herself or she had something thrown into her head. Like, all right, your idea a minute ago was about they actually have something to throw voices into someone's head. We talked about it on the show one time. It might have been something similar. Remember in Black Ops 2, that thing you could throw up in front of somebody, if they ran into it, it would just
Make their.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is something similar to that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a story years ago about a guy who found a crazy looking cave out in the desert that looked like the shape of a letter M. The door of it did. And he left, and he came back, and he found it again, but he said every time he got near it, he would feel like he was going to throw up, and he kept hearing vibration or feeling vibrations and hearing something off. So, I mean, they might have technology similar to that. Now, Amy claims they have some type of direct energy weapon that didn't make her burst into flames or anything, but it burned her skin. Like she said,
Radiation.
yeah, like similar to radiation. But she said it needed direct line of sight to do it. It couldn't just go through walls, but it could go through windows. And she had all of her windows covered except for this one day that she had one of her windows open, and she was further off into the room typing, and her hands were shown in the sunlight, and her hands were burned. And they weren't when she sat down, but when she got back up, she realized, hey, this side's redder than this side. So that was one of her claims, along with her saying, and I quote, "If you see any report that I killed myself, I most definitely did not."
Then she's dead.
And then she's gone. Just like that.
Supposedly.
And how? Why would they do that? Unless she's not dead, they got her trapped. They got her somewhere, making
They
maybe
killed her
wishes she was dead.
Her family had her body, had a body, at least that looked like her, because her dad told the news, I don't want to get into it, but even scientists like Amy die just like everyone else. It was almost like I'm not trying to mess with his grief, but it was almost scripted what he said.
Well, don't forget that they do soul swapping.
Yeah, but I don't know if she was that big though. She wasn't a super scientist. She was just she was a scientist, but she wasn't a well-known scientist.
But she figured out the anti-gravity thing.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
What is the soul swapping? Is that anything like scalping? Soul scalping?
No.
Where they're scalping them to the moon, supposedly?
What, you mean like astral projection?
I don't know everything behind that, but I've heard of soul scalping where they trap your soul in the moon when you die, you know. But you're probably talking about
Take the
like
soul
kind
out.
of reincarnation,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. So
Yeah, it was in the files. Wasn't it? They
Yeah.
soul swap.
in the
Epstein.
files, yeah.
Yeah.
They explain why certain celebrities don't, like, they go away for a while, and then when they come back into the limelight, they look different.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift don't look any different
No,
to me.
she looks the same.
She looks taller than she used to be, which is weird, but maybe that's just a trick of the camera.
Like
But
Jamie Foxx was
Jamie Foxx
is the one that's really that's the one that
And,
tripped me.
Do y'all remember when Kanye West went out the light and came back and he looked totally different and then he left again and then came back and looked normal? Do y'all remember that?
Kanye West only popped up in my feed when he started clocking out Jewish people.
Kanye West was some of his stuff that he was on, like, makes sense.
He's really trying to piss off Jewish people nowadays. Like, really going for them hard.
Well, there's got to be a reason.
There has to be a reason, because his song, Heil Hitler,
Wow.
you ain't going to piss a Jew off more than that.
I haven't heard
Every
that.
other woke woman in the world that's got blue hair.
He,
No offense to women with blue hair, but why do y'all look the same?
did y'all see his music video that he come out with recently?
Oh,
Oh, shit.
I honestly don't even know what Kanye West's voice sounds like.
It's got Michael Jackson in it. It's got astronauts, the CIA, all in a church,
He's trying to do.
aliens, all kind of shit.
Kanye West is too big to take out. Amy Eskridge was simple. She wasn't well known. She was just a scientist in her field. Someone more famous, though, it's kind of harder to do.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But what level of celebrity would you have to be to avoid that?
I don't think that you're ever too
Safe.
big to
Yeah, you're
because
not
look at
safe.
Michael Jackson. I mean, he was the biggest thing in the world,
I really
basically.
think he's alive.
Yeah, I think Elvis Presley. He might be dead now, but
There's a rumor that Elvis became a Southern preacher in Mississippi.
I seen it looks legit.
I've seen the videos.
The guy,
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I think all of this. You talking about the 11 dead scientists? It ties into I think one way, shape, or form the movie stars and the musicians that are dying as well. I think that's all basically the same reasoning behind it. You know, there's something that the powers that be are scared of getting out, and they either have to control them, take them off the scene, and reprogram them, or they have to eliminate them altogether. And the ones that aren't very well known, they can basically just take them out and throw out a decent story, you know, and nobody will ever find out. But somebody like Kanye or Michael Jackson, you know, they've got to,
Selena Gomez.
yeah, they've got to either get a clone or do the soul swapping, or they've got to do something, you know, because that's revenue for those guys, you know,
yeah.
publicity.
I mean, there's still rumors floating around that Michael Jackson was a PDF file.
I don't think he was.
He was found not guilty, though. A lot of people don't know that, but his whole trial that really erupted in the early 2000s, he was found not guilty, but he couldn't sell any more records.
I think there's more. Who was it? Macaulay
Culkin.
Culkin, and there were a couple other ones that came out and said after the fact. Here recently, I feel like that he was just Michael Jackson was abused himself as a kid, and he just was trying to help kids out. You know,
That's what a lot of rumors that popped out. It was Macaulay Culkin was one of them, and Corey Feldman was another one
Mm-hmm.
that said that he was trying to out other people in Hollywood like that were monsters, and they kept trying to get him to talk about Michael Jackson, and he just finally told him, Michael Jackson never did anything to me. He never would. Culkin was the same way. I mean, Culkin did, Culkin could have been abused by anyone in Hollywood.
So who was the one that brought up it? The first person that brought up Michael Jackson being that kind of person?
It was sometime back in the late 90s, I want to think.
Was it a child who claimed, or was it an adult, or like who was it? Do we know?
I have no idea.
Do we know how it started? Because I remember being young and like being told, we don't like Michael Jackson because he's a.
I remember hearing that too. I didn't really start listening to Jackson's music until I was older.
Mm-hmm.
I think supposedly a lot of the parents of the kids,
It was a guaranteed
Supposedly.
payday
yeah.
if you went after Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he
A
was
lot
gonna-
of the parents got together, and were
Oh, yeah, I think it was just a money move.
throwing it. Yeah, we're throwing all that out there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't believe Michael Jackson was a PDF file.
It is. I mean, they searched. What was it? Neverland? Was it called Neverland?
Yeah.
They searched Neverland and they found little kid-sized mannequins dressed like Cub Scouts and stuff like that in one of his rooms, which is weird. And it didn't really click until I heard a comedian talk about it. But the comedian said, if people found little mannequins dressed like Cub Scouts in my room, people would assume I was doing stuff to them. So that might be where a lot of that came from. It's like, okay, yeah, he's definitely guilty. Who has
Yeah, that's
kids' side? But I mean, you got to think, he was part of Jackson 5 when he was young. His dad beat the hell out of him. We know that. He was constantly forced to do stuff he didn't want to do. His childhood was stripped away from him completely.
Mhm.
So that would explain a giant theme park in his backyard. Like everything he wanted as a kid.
So like a
but never
childlike
could.
mind.
Yeah.
He stuck in something he could finally have.
And that performance he made at 1995 Super Bowl, I think it was immaculate. I still watch it to this day.
He was just trying to play with the kids. He was trying to relive his childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's gonna
that,
look weird to anybody.
in itself, is inappropriate.
But back then, they didn't have the whole mental health like they do now. So
Yeah, people had mental health. It was just
it
not.
just wasn't documented.
It wasn't.
They were just
discussed.
starting to scratch the surface of mental health back then, I feel like.
Even when we were younger, it wasn't looked at as something that everyone had. You were just kind of told to bury it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was trying to save all these kids. Because
Yeah.
that's what was starting to go on around the 90s is when all this.
Not to mention, Michael Jackson owned over 50% of Sony back then. Did y'all know that? He owned a huge portion of Sony. And Sony did not like it.
Wow.
He owned a lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he owned a lot of. Yeah, we got to pause for a second. I got to change the battery up there.
Good, that's the perfect time to smoke a cigarette.
We'll pause our.
Alright, let's just roll in.
All right, rolling again, and we'll do the clap. Sorry about that. Had to get up and change the battery. But it actually happened at a decent time because we started on Amy Eskridge and went to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, we need a reset.
Conspiracies go wild, but jumping back on track, I think we'd already discussed that Amy had said she didn't want to kill herself. Let's see. I'm seeing some other stuff too. According to interviews that people around her had claimed she had been drugged, like roofied, multiple times. She's being targeted and monitored, and she has been hit with a directed energy weapon, which is that picture of her in her hands. Which, I mean, we think of directed energy weapon, of course we're thinking of the Palisades, we're thinking of the Maui fires, stuff like that. But yeah, I tried to look too to see if I could see if she actually had a gun registered to her, but I don't think you can actually look that stuff up unless you're the state. But It was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. It was ruled a suicide, and the case was closed right after that. So
there's movies out there that kind of sort of get that right. You know, like the Bourne movie that Jason Bourne wasn't in it. It was Jeremy Renner, I guess.
that was a good one.
That is what they do. The people come over to the house, you know, and suicide you, you know, and then Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. That's another
that
another
thing he
example.
had that was like,
them revealing things on film, you know, how they do things.
put your finger on it and just aim it towards you, and they just put you through hell until you finally pull the trigger.
And that's part of I believe, and it's been said, that's part of the ritual that the elites have to let you know somehow, some way that they're fixing to do something.
Yeah.
You know, so. But yeah, that reminded me of that. And with those scientists, I feel like you could tie that into you know, that, I guess that's why we got on Michael Jackson, but it's all, you know, 6 degrees of separation or whatever. I mean, everything's kind of links up, you know, in my opinion. But scientists, I think it was, they were probably going to reveal something that they didn't want revealed, maybe. Yeah, well, maybe. I think they've already got all that stuff. And I've heard, I don't know, some say what you want, you're either for or against Alex Jones, but I mean,
Rachel loves Alex Jones.
He says that they are like 60 to 70 years ahead of what we know tech-wise.
I believe that they might be more than that.
Possibly. And it all started, I feel like, in around 1948. And people start talking about, you know, Werner von Braun coming over and the Nazis having all the tech that they did, you know, and then it going into the space program. And
Project Paperclip.
That can link up with the scientists. I just believe there's info out there that they're not ready to have released yet, that those scientists are very privy to, and they're very capable of just, you know, letting it slip, or, you know, letting it accidentally slip.
What bothers me the most about this whole story is I seen it for the first time on Fox News, and anything you see on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, I'm not saying it's not real, but usually if they're saying, look at this pen, they're over here doing something with this hand.
Yep.
So, and a lot of theories have been popping out about these scientists and why we're hearing about them now. One of them is horrifying, but supposedly these scientists are linked to a new weapon that obviously new to us, not new to them, but it's some type of satellite, and people think satellite, they think directed energy weapons. It's not. It's something that I forgot what the operation was called.
Rods of God.
It's close. I don't know if that's the name.
They've
That's
had
the name.
that.
That's the name of
They've
Rods
had
of
that
God.
for years.
Tungsten steel
Rod
rods.
from God, sorry.
Yeah, it's like they said it was the size of a telephone pole, and this satellite just drops them. And when they hit, it's bigger than a nuclear explosion without the fallout.
I think that's basically, in my opinion, that's kind of old tech. They're using like the Maui fires.
Mm-hmm.
Those directed energy weapons are things like that. Microwave technology, like
Yeah.
you're talking about, that burning her. They can fry you from the inside out from a distance.
Yeah, that satellite is supposed to be, 50 miles up, and it can just... I bet if they use that in the fires in the Palisades or Maui, it was just a quick shot, too. It's just and it started. Because on a good wind, all they'd have to do is wait for a windy day and then set something on fire. You could throw a cigarette on a windy day and it would start to fire quickly and start moving.
There's conspiracy theories. If you go back and look at there's some cars there that everything's burned, and telephone poles, everything's burned around them, but the car is still...
Y'all talking about like spontaneous combustion?
No, we're talking about the directed energy weapons that hit Maui, and it burnt...
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, and it burnt a whole area, but there would be a car sitting out there.
That wasn't touched. It was blue.
The tires would be melted to the asphalt, but the car would be perfectly, the paint and everything on it would be perfectly, and telephone poles
Colored blue
weren't
for some
burned,
reason.
you know.
The blue umbrellas that were at tables at a restaurant were not touched.
people-
Everything around them was gone.
People were painting their houses, the roofs blue.
Mm-hmm.
And those houses supposedly survived.
That's weird because why would a specific color offset something like that?
It would either have something to do with the
The
frequency wave of the weapon itself, or it might be just as simple as, hey, paint your roof blue so we'll know not to hit it, you know. Could be something just as simple as that.
Usually, it would not make sense in my head if they could actually control the fire and where it goes, though.
Well, I mean, they have those, what's it called? The weather machines.
Yeah.
Harp,
Hey, allegedly, Iran blew up one of those over in Tehran, I think. Was it?
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
And then all of a sudden, Iran itself, their drought was over and it started raining nonstop.
They got a year's worth of rain in just a day or two.
Yeah.
all of those guys, Gaddafi, all those guys that they take out in these countries that are supposedly bad guys, you know, baby incubators on the floor and all this kind of stuff. You do a little deep dive on those guys and you find out they were actually trying to get off of the petrodollar, most of them.
They
trying
didn't
to
have
get away
rights
from
to
it.
a bank either.
And that's why, they've got weapons of mass destruction. We better go, they've got to come up with a reason they've got to go.
It's the same thing with Iran right now. Trump keeps saying we cannot let Iran get a nuke. I don't think people fully understand what it takes to fire off a nuke. And even if Iran did have one, more than likely they would aim it at Israel, yes. But as soon as a nuke launches, if it's launching with rockets, we have satellites covering the entire Earth that watches every country that has nukes. As soon as they even notice those sparks flying, it's on.
Yep.
And I'm sure they've got something that they supposedly, the directed energy weapons are supposed to be able to take a nuke out of the sky.
A lot of that tech, though, sounds better on paper because if you look at a lot of the attacks with the Iron Dome in Israel and all that, supposed to be able to take those rockets out of the sky. You know, a lot of those are getting through, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of that tech that they say they have is probably active, but it's probably not perfected.
Yeah, this war, it doesn't make sense to me, and I still think that
It's
this
the
war.
same thing every time.
Well, this one is trying to get our minds off of Epstein.
Yeah.
Okay, but why would Melania be put into the spotlight and bring our attention back to the files? What were they trying to distract us?
Melania wouldn't be able to do that without Trump knowing it.
I think it's funny how she never come out and said that Trump didn't do anything. She's just saying, look, I'm innocent. This has nothing to do with me. She's covering herself. She said, fuck this guy.
I think personally think Trump was complicit in all that. He knew what was going on. He just didn't do anything about it. But going back to, you get on Trump, this whole thing is to undermine what he's done so far. You know, now whether he's just been an actor the whole way or what, or whether he was just fed bad information, say what you will about that, but it's this whole Iran thing. I think one of the main reasons is to collapse the economy over here, collapse everything basically, and
The gas prices right now, that'll do it.
you go with the one world government thing. That's what they want to do. They want to make 10 different distinct
Then they want us to think
countries.
that we made this decision.
Yeah.
That the people wanted this.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
that goes back to the elites. You know, got to let you know what they do before they do it.
Just about every war that we've been in, something happened right before it to make us want the war. Remember 9/11 happened? When 9/11 happened, we were all unified in the same time to go to war because we wanted revenge.
That was the most Americans have been.
Yeah, I remember those days. And Vietnam was the same way. What was it, the Tiananmen Square incident? I haven't read just a whole lot about that, but that got us into Vietnam.
Yeah.
The Gulf of Tonkin, the supposedly the Russians or the Chinese attacking the American ship, and it was the Americans attacking their own ship.
Yeah,
That
it was
They
to get us
pointed-
into a war that
Yeah.
we'd lost anyway.
Yeah.
it's all it's smoke and mirrors.
That's like JFK. He's the only president that has really come out and not supported Israel back in those days, 50, however long ago it was. He got killed.
Yeah. And I heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, I didn't do any research in it. Honestly, I don't want to believe it, but that Israel had something to do with 9/11.
I believe it.
Now, whether you believe that the terrorists or anything, what we do know about 9/11 is a lot of people died. 2 buildings fell due to airplanes, supposedly, and then randomly Building 7 falls right after.
And then the guy that owned had just bought the Twin Towers, takes out a terrorism insurance policy
Mm-hmm.
for trillions of dollars.
He just done that again somewhere in California too.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much. There's so much. And somebody like me, somebody that's a pea brain like myself, I've got to condense everything down and try to anyway to the simplest forms and see where all this stuff going on over here and all this stuff going over here connects and comes down to a certain point, and to where I can make sense out of it. And if you start going off on all these different, like the 11 scientists, I mean, if you start trying to figure out, every specific reason each one of them individually was taken out, and you start looking at it like as a whole, and you start treating it like a war, okay, what would be the reason that, we went to war? Okay, it was basically for money and control. What did they want the scientists taken out for? Probably
They
money and
completed-
control.
I think they were all working on some type of weapon, something, and they completed their job and they said, the hell with y'all. Y'all know too much.
Or maybe they all got together. I mean, they're notorious for keeping everybody compartmentalized when they're working on. And Lazar, we were talking about Bob Lazar, he'll tell you that. None of the scientists know, when they're working on a big project, none of them know what the completed project or sees the whole plan.
Yeah, they just give them.
They all have their own individual little compartment that they're working on.
It's like
then
if they want them to build a lantern, it's like one group build these rings.
Mhm.
That's all you're doing.
Yep, and
They
you
can
don't
look
know
this way.
why you're even doing it, and it might have been that the scientists had all gotten together, maybe they formed a little group or whatever, and we're trying to, I mean, you could, there's probably 1,000 different ways that it could go. That's why a lot of times I feel like, it's, I don't want to say it's pointless, but at the same time, it can spin your brain in a million different directions trying to figure out, what's going on, unless you can condense things into a simplified version,
But
And-
you can't let it make you crazy.
no, a lot of people don't want that though. A lot of people don't want the simple version of it, because then if they figure it out, oh, what are we going to talk about now? What can we do now? We've got to have a little chaos, in the mix, so we can figure, so we can keep going. And somebody like, it makes my head spin when I try and figure stuff like that out. And the scientists we can speculate all day long, but at the end of the day, they might be alive, they might be dead. They might have been working on something. More than likely they were working on something very, very top secret that they were probably going to come out
Well,
with.
How many rockets have been launched lately?
through who?
Musk,
Yeah.
SpaceX,
SpaceX launches.
shit ton of 'em.
Yeah, but it's all a lot of them are
Into
tests.
space.
Into space? One in the past 2 years, 3 years,
I
something like
think
that.
so.
They just had
NASA.
They just had one launch
Artemis.
from Guyana, the equator, and it sent up a NASA rocket. I think it sent up a NASA satellite, supposedly satellite.
SpaceX will do it constantly because you can pay SpaceX to put stuff up there.
I was just reading on these rods of God, launching them into orbit. The orbit would cost billions to trillions overall, and they're launching rockets every day. Each rod weighs like 8 to 11 tons.
Y'all remember
So-
back in the day when they
That's
would
why I was wondering how many rockets get launched into space.
SpaceX does it most. But
When
it's
they-
not technically space. SpaceX rockets are not going further than the satellite area.
if you listen to certain groups of people, there's no space, and they go up and they go down into the Bermuda Triangle,
Yeah.
and that's why they don't let anybody in the Bermuda Triangle and film anything, because that's where they land all the rockets that go up.
That could be a
Supposedly.
giant gateway to whatever's under the ocean.
Man, there you go. I mean, it's, you can follow that.
Just from
Aliens underwater and underwater bases, and
that reminds me of a story that you gotta think when I get to work in the morning, I'm very tired. I'm ready for my caffeine and my nicotine. And I remember a few months ago, Rachel walks in and goes, "Dude, some guy got kidnapped by dolphins." I'm like, no. Then you know what? Just stop. Then like an hour or two later, I seen it and I'm like, damn it.
He didn't even believe me when I told him it was illegal
You
to talk to dolphins.
in Florida, yeah,
You can't.
there's a
talk-
law.
Does that
Cannot
not
talk.
bother anyone else?
That is just the craziest law, because
Why
who's going to think that dolphins can talk? Who's going to think that?
And if I see a guy out on the beach going, "Here, dolphin, I'm going away from that dude.
Exactly. You're going to think he's crazy.
Yeah. But that hurt my head as soon as I seen that was accurate. And there is more coming out about that now.
They apparently killed a bunch of them dolphins.
Yeah, they were they were telling the news that it wasn't important, that it was a hoax, and then they had helicopters on that island behind where the dolphin was supposedly.
It's
very
like,
old.
where do you turn for? You're spinning in a circle looking for answers, and it's like, I guess that's part of the draw to it, is you're constantly enamored by talking dolphins, and there's law. I mean, and I was telling Rachel, you remember me telling you about the mermaids?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that grew up, and he still lives in New Orleans, that was talking about going into a specific casino in New Orleans, and the guy's telling them not to talk to those specific girls because they were mermaids.
Like sirens.
Like, I guess maybe they either drugged the guys and got their money at the least, or the guys ended up in the ocean, mysteriously, whatever. They got sick of it all and off themselves, But just weird things like that. And I mean, and trying to link it back to the scientists. I mean, if you start doing deep dives into what each one of them individually was working on, I mean, that might possibly be a direction to head. But admittedly, I was telling y'all beforehand, I haven't done much research at all on them, unfortunately. And
They're all similar in their fields, which is why people are starting to connect the dots. Like Amy Eskridge was anti-gravity. Michael David Hicks worked for NASA. Frank, I can't pronounce his last name, senior engineer at NASA for jet propulsion systems. This is all seeming like some type of craft that doesn't need fire, basically, to move. This is what it sounds like to me, which would be immaculate. I mean, have you ever talked to anybody who had actually seen one of those launches in person? They're loud even from 2 miles away. Like, they are extremely loud. And this thing sounds to me like I seen a video of someone exploring the SpaceX warehouse. They're building not one rocket, they're building at least 20 or 30 of them at a time. Why do they need that many? That bothers me, why they need that many, and they're huge.
tax money. That goes back to what I was going to say a while ago. If anybody's old enough to remember the $30 million toilet lid, the toilet seats,
I heard
they
that on
had
Independence Day.
in a budget.
Yeah.
that they, you know,
That was real?
they put those in there. Oh yeah, those were real. But the $30 million wasn't for a toilet seat.
That'd be a damn good
It was
toilet seat.
for whatever else. It was for black budget projects, you know, that they just had to, you know, it's like a $50 Q-tip at the hospital, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
You know, dang good and well, that Q-tip doesn't cost $50.
Well,
know.
I'm not to get off track, but this girl Amy Eskridge died in 2022.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that. I thought this was like super
Recent.
recent.
We just started hearing about it recently. She's with them. A lot of these scientists have either died or went missing recently in the past couple of weeks. But she actually passed away back in 2022, but no one ever knew about it until now. And I mean, remember the Manhattan Project was, how many people were on the Manhattan Project? Like 140 or 150 people, and they all did different jobs to build a nuclear bomb, but none of them knew what it was. So, I mean, these guys could have all done something to make some type of aircraft or some type of bomb, and then all just moved out separately. I don't know. But they're all in the same, except for David Wilcock. He was not a super scientist like the rest of them, but he was talking about a lot of crazy stuff on YouTube. And he just died recently in the past couple weeks. So
It makes you wonder why the guys that you see out there that are talking about basically the same type of stuff that those scientists were talking about, why they're still able to, while they're still going, while they're still alive, you know, and don't suffer the same fate as those guys, you know.
I mean, look at information, the way we deal with information now. I want everyone around this table to actually think about this for a second. Okay, so what if you had SD card that had 100% real footage of allegedly Hillary Clinton shape-shifting into a lizard person? What would you do with that information? There is no one on the planet that would take it serious. What would you actually do with it?
Especially not now with fucking AI.
Even 10 years ago, before AI came out for us, who would you send it to? I was thinking about that while I was driving one day. It's like, who would ever actually listen to that? Not one person I could ever, not one person.
You would have more people who didn't believe it than you would that did, but I would still be like, there's probably some truth in that. Like, there's more people like, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say.
It's like Edward Snowden back in the late 2000s or early I don't know. Whenever, have you guys heard of Edward Snowden?
I have not.
No,
You have?
No.
Rachel and Victoria, have you?
he was like a information dump back before
Yeah.
it was popular.
Wait, is he the one that fled to Russia?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Edward Snowden worked for the NSA back in 2007, 2008, I think. And that's when he realized that they were listening to everything. Like your laptop was watching you when it wasn't supposed to be. Your telephone was listening, whole 9 yards. And it bugged him so bad that he ended up making copies of all of it. And if there's a movie about it. You guys should watch the movie. If it's any indication of actually what happened, it's genius how he got the information out. Because he worked underground in Hawaii for the NSA. And he ended up copying everything onto a little tiny SD card and sticking it inside of a tile on a Rubik's Cube. Because he was known to always walk around messing with the Rubik's Cubes because he's a smart guy. He could do one quickly. But he was always messing with one like a fidget spinner. And he put it in that tile, and to get out of security, which he had to go through a metal detector, get to work, and out a metal detector. And it was one of those good ones that could get anything. He knew the security guards, and he's throwing that Rubik's Cube up and down, and he gets to the metal detector and tosses it to him. So it goes behind it, and the guy catches it. He's like, man, I can't do nothing with this. Snowden goes through the metal detector, and then the guard tosses it to him on the other side, and he walks right out the door. Now, they know he stole it, right? Like, I don't know, it was probably a day after, but he was done going. But yeah, he lives in Moscow now. And if he ever sets foot back on American soil, he'll be killed.
There was a video I watched a while back about talking about fidget spinner.
Mm-hmm.
guy that supposedly created those. And I'd have to go back and watch it again. It's fascinating the way he talks about he got it out of another dimension or something. He got that idea out of another dimension for those fidget spinners. It was an idea that a quantum computer or something told him, something that would make billions of dollars. And I guess it did. It's like clothespins or paper clips or
Yeah, just one
whatever.
of
Who's
those
got the
random
patent
things.
for those things,
Have you heard about that crystal ball that they can look into and see the future, see dimensions, or see like?
Is that Project Looking Glass?
Yeah, there's that, and then there's the what is that thing that they've got at the Vatican supposedly that you can look into it like a
Coronavisor.
coronavisor. Yeah,
Yeah.
they supposedly saw Jesus' crucifixion, and
I think they said they still have the pieces, but they destroyed it.
my thing on that is, the power and control. That's what they want. They want the ability to be able to control people, control.
And if they actually knew what happened in the past, they could control the future easily.
Yeah, and it's like, there again, you get the ideas. They put what they want you to know in the movies. You get the idea that you can go back in the past, but it's like what are the movies with the death catches up to you? They've had several of them. I forget the name of it, but if you go back in the past and change something, try to keep somebody from dying or whatever, they'll eventually die. It might just be another way.
Yeah.
So basically, you can go back in the past, but you're just an observer. If you try to change anything, it doesn't matter what you do. It's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, the
The way it's-
Coronavisor was just a video feed of the past or the future. You couldn't interact.
Yeah, supposedly.
Which they watched at the time they found. Did you guys hear that story about the Coronavisor? It was basically a TV is what it looked like, but it could go back in time. You could see on the screen in black and white of what actually happened in the past, actual events. And they tested it allegedly right after Eisenhower or one of the presidents in America had given a speech, and someone who was at the speech was in this room and said, go back to that and let's see. And it was word for word.
Wow.
And the Vatican got a hold of this technology, tested it, and then this either destroyed it or disassembled it, but put it away.
It's in the Vatican, supposedly.
Yeah.
There's so much tech or
I would give
unknown things in the Vatican that it's just.
a limb just to be in there for a day to see what they got.
You wouldn't know what to look at.
Is a day even enough time?
No.
It's enough time to get the answer that I'm looking for, I think. But I would need full access and fuck all to any of the guards.
Yeah, and that probably wouldn't happen. You wouldn't make it. If you made it in there, you probably wouldn't make it out. And if you did, you wouldn't be around too much longer.
Mm-hmm.
If you did get
Yeah.
out.
Just like I always say, if I'm out in the woods, way off in the woods on a hike or something, and I see Bigfoot, no one's ever going to believe me, even my closest friends, but I'll know what I saw. That's how I see it. Like if you actually had proof that Hillary Clinton shapeshifts into a lizard person, you would know. No one else would know. No one else would believe you, but you would know.
Proof these days is very subjective. It's just like truth. How is anybody going to know anything? How is anybody going to believe anything if you witness something with your own eyes and you go back and tell you, oh man, I've just seen blah 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 blah, I got it on my phone, oh, that's AI, I mean, how are you going to prove it to somebody? And then on top of that, a lot of the people you could drag with you, hey, there's Bigfoot right there. That's somebody in a suit, man. Let's go over there and check it out.
Well, my answer to that would be go poke it.
Yeah,
I dare you.
Anything that you. It goes back to what I was going to say. My buddy always tells me, if you see a video of some conspiracy theory on YouTube that's got millions of views, it's probably not true, unless they're trying to kind of double blind you, double shift you. He said the videos that have got next to no views at all are the ones that are generally true.
Ours.
Yeah. So, but you can take that and use the what do they call that, reverse psychology, and put stuff out there blatantly, millions of views, and it could be true. I mean, that goes back to what I'm saying. How do you know? How are you able to vet something out as true or false? You know,
I've heard people say there are actual video and photos of actual werewolves or Bigfoot or something like that.
how do you know?
But
though?
people
You can-
will see it and they'll think, oh, it's fake.
You can see them. I mean, I'll show my girlfriend to this day videos of Dogman or whatever, and even the ones that are you have got to be, in my opinion, got to be real. She's like, no, that can't be. That's got to be AI. You know.
I showed one of you a video of a dogman in a wooded area, and you said, oh, it's a terrible AI, but it looked real to me.
Yeah.
You see one, I showed her one last night. A car just driving by randomly, and a dog man out there digging up a grave in a cemetery. Why would anybody, and that's just 10, 12 years ago, you know, why would anybody be out in the middle of a cemetery digging up a grave?
Ago.
Yeah,
Not for us.
I mean,
Not for us.
you know, and then I said, okay, what if you told AI to create a video that didn't look like AI? You know, what would it create, you know?
There's still a sound. There's still some things that it's got messed up. But if we talk about it, it'll fix it. I know that listening.
Well, they say that there's supposedly watermarks on all the videos and pictures,
Uh-oh.
you know, of AI. What is it?
Hold the phone. That thing just stopped recording. See, we start talking about crazy.
All right, we're back.
And for those of you who don't know, as soon as Victoria here said, I know they're listening, they got all the power, something similar to that,
Yeah.
the camera just stops recording randomly, full battery,
As soon as I said
as
that.
soon as you said that.
That is so insane.
So before we lose track again, because assholes,
And we're on.
keep it another about 15 minutes on this show. Let me show.
Shit. That it was a lot of roadblocks last night everywhere through Mississippi.
Okay. Hey. Have you started recording again, baby?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Okay.
Let's see. Let me do this real quick.
What are you doing?
Showing Quinn that site that I use. Let's see here. This one right here. I was just in a rough mood that day, and I wrote a song called "Go Fuck Yourself."
Fuck you too, Nathan.
What? I didn't write it about you.
Right.
Huh.
Sounds like we're talking about racing.
No, that song was for that married chick that I was dating. I didn't know she was married.
Yeah, he almost got his ass kicked.
I didn't hear about that.
And it's not only that. It's I write.
Can you write your own music on there? I mean, can you tell it what you want to?
Mm-hmm. Do just about anything. Like I wanted to hear something like this. I wanted to hear some kind of guitar solo. See, that gives me chills every time I hear it.
That'd be like a good intro to a podcast or something.
Oh, you can. The sky's the limit with that app. It's Suno, S-U-N-O.
Huh.
$10 a month gives you 2,500 uses, and if you run out, you can buy more.
I've often thought about using my computer. I've got a big ass gaming computer in the house that basically I don't use.
You'll need that if you want to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I've got a bass, amp, set of electronic drums that I've been thinking about trying to, do something with.
I still have my drum kit, but I haven't used it in over a year.
Oh,
All right, let's finish this shit real quick. All right, are we recording on this now?
Yeah, we ready to go.
All right. That made my ear ring. And again, we are back again because we started talking about stuff we weren't supposed to talk about, and the government reached through our camera that isn't even hooked up to anything and hit the stop recording button, which is BS if you ask me. But, all right, so the last guy that we're going to hit on this one, David Wilcock, he is a YouTuber that was trying to, I want to say I've seen videos of him saying stuff like, I don't know what he was trying to get on about, but he did not look suicidal, which people that committed that, done that to themselves never look like it. To this day, I still don't think Chester Bennington did that to himself, because he was working on some kind of documentary to out some kind of children trafficking ring. Him and Chris Cornell both. But anyway, somehow we got off on Michael Jackson, we got off on Bigfoot, we got off on Dogmen.
Mermaids.
So, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think did these guys actually unalive themselves? And Quinn, we say that because if you say you say the other one, we could get demonetized, which we don't get very many views on this one anyway, but that could change tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. I understand that.
So, yeah, what do you guys think? As a whole, after everything we've talked about, is it a coincidence? Or are these, why would the government need to kill these people?
Because they know too much.
Like, if they actually came in and killed Amy, that means she figured out anti-gravity.
Right.
Just talking about it? No. That means she figured it out. Because there was a news article that's in the video on this channel that says she was testing in the field, which means she figured out a way to test her theory. And she must have figured it out. I wonder if she tested it out on herself, if she jumped up and never stopped. But, I mean, if you had that, you're just like, hey, come get me. Bounce, gone.
It's one thing I'd like to know is, individually what they were all working on and what they were doing with what they had discovered.
I think it's a weapon. It's gotta be. Or a craft. Weapon or craft.
Or both. I mean, this
Or
is the U.S.
weaponized
government. There's the meme out there of the aliens that gave us nuclear technology, and they're like, oh, see that? Oh, they're making weapons again.
Yep.
And they gave us fire. Oh, hey. Oh, they're using it as a weapon.
Yeah.
That's why aliens, I've always said this, they fly by our planet and they lock the doors when they fly by. Because we just like to make things that go boom. And there's always the rumor that aliens have stopped us from using nuclear weapons since the 40s, too. So like the 40s, we just went kind of crazy with it, dropped one there, one there.
And then there's the rumor my buddy has that they really don't have nuclear weapons, because if you started a nuclear reaction, that the reaction would just keep going and going and going and going and wouldn't ever stop.
What about Hiroshima?
And Nagasaki.
It was just a couple of big ass bombs.
There was a guy that lived through both of those. You hear about that?
I think there's been several people that have lived through there. Maybe they're
he
not
lived
still
through
be.
both explosions. Both explosions threw him, and then he died of old age.
Huh.
But the first one, he was on his way to work, but he was close enough. It threw him like 250 yards back the way he came, and then he made his way towards Nagasaki, went to the doctor and told him what happened. He's like, oh man, that's terrible. As he was leaving, the one hit Nagasaki, and it threw him again.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about having a bad day at work.
Yeah. That
That would have to be a big ass fucking bomb, because it like burned people's shadows into the ground.
Those were like ground zero where it landed.
Well, what do y'all think about Chernobyl and them saying that Chernobyl is irradiated for the next ever how many thousands and millions of years, but there are people over there right now that go make documentaries inside of the city.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But they're not. There's no radiation over there. What is this point I'm trying to make?
They got the back counters and
There's a a shit ton of like stray animals over there, dogs, cats, and there is a group of people that go there every day and take care of the animals. But they can't touch the animals.
They're not like three-headed dogs. Or
There's some deformed animals.
Oh, are there really? Oh,
Even the
really
fish
is.
are deformed.
Yeah, but you cannot touch the animals, and they're so fucking cute. I couldn't do it. I'd die.
the three-headed dog. Come here.
A raccoon that's got 8 fingers, like, oh.
Yeah.
There's a, what is it called? There's a big blob of radiation inside Chernobyl in the bottom of it. They call it something, elephant something. But, like, they turned a corner, like they were doing research on how much radiation was, and this was the ground zero of the most radiation in the area is coming from this one blob of pure radiation in the basement.
The blob.
Yeah, they called it something, but they couldn't get close to it. They were in the hallway, at the back of the hallway, with their suits on, but it would have started eating through their suits if they got any closer. So they sent a camera on an office chair down the hallway until it got to the end where this door was, and they seen a big pile of radiation, and it was like, okay, that's why we can't go in there. They called it something. There was a picture of it somewhere, but it was pretty wild.
I think I've heard of that.
Elephant something. I want to say elephantitis, but that's something else.
I've heard of that. I know what you're talking about.
Let's see if I can find it. What is the blob of radiation in the bottom of Chernobyl? Nuclear power plant is a massive solid-filled lava-like substance known as the elephant's foot. Discovered in December 1986, months after the April 26 disaster, is located in the maintenance corridor directly below the remains of reactor number 4. So
That pulled that up.
elephant's
foot.
They've got, yeah, that's what it looks like.
The blob. It's got
Yeah.
a picture of the blob.
Yeah, they actually got someone in there to take a picture of it.
Drone. They flew a drone in there.
But yeah, it's just sitting in the corner right next to one of the old reactors, and it's covered in radiation. They can't
It's
get
a
near
melted down.
it. Oh wait, there's a guy right next to it.
Oh.
Okay.
It's irradiated. It's
There was-
glowing.
They sent like the day after it happened, they sent a chopper over it, to a news chopper, and the door was wide open, and the guy was filming. The camera guy was dead the next day because of that.
Wow.
'Cause he flew right over the reactor.
Crazy.
Wow.
Didn't one of the reactors in another country blow up as well? It wasn't just Russia. Wait, Chernobyl, was that Russia or
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Russia took it over somehow.
Pripyat is what it's called. And I only know that from one of the Call of Duty games. Pripyat. He's in the game.
There's still people that have to work there because if you don't stop keeping the place up, all those reactors will explode. You have to continuously do stuff
Oh,
there.
it's just Reactor 4 that blew up?
If the end of the world ever happened and like we were all gone, all the nuclear plants will eventually blow up because there's nobody there to service them.
Well, that's
Blow the fuck
what
up.
what was the name of the plant in Japan?
That's what I was thinking of. I can't remember. Was it Fukushima?
Fukushima.
Yep.
Fukushima. Exactly. And then I hear stories about the scientists that they volunteered, and it's basically like a suicide mission. They volunteered to go in there and do whatever they got to do to shut that down. You know, because they've got those nuclear rods in there that have got to keep water on.
That's what it is.
And if the water isn't on there, they blow up eventually.
Yeah,
and they
'cause
start.
water cools them constantly.
Yep, and that's what it happened to those. And they poured. I remember them saying they poured. I forget how many thousands of tons of concrete on top of all that, trying to get it to stop blowing
I think
up.
It boils the water constantly too.
I wonder if that's similar as to what's going to happen with these AI centers because they're powered by water. They
And they
keep all
don't
that
have
water
to
flowing in to keep them cooled the fuck down.
That irritates me too because it's the cheapest way is the water. They don't have to use that. Because like YouTube has a giant warehouse out in the desert that has all of their hard drives of all the videos on their website. They are constantly shipping in hard drives through 18-wheelers every day, and it's cooled by giant air conditioners. It's like,
Yeah.
it's always, I think, 40 or 50 degrees in that building at all times, and it's a giant building. It's like 5 Amazon warehouses together is how big that place is. And that's just for one website.
I think the AI centers, that's another way of possibly controlling the water supply one day. You know, holding people hostage over their water. They're already doing it with the food.
They've interviewed people next to those data centers in Texas. They barely have water pressure. Their water bill went through the roof, and they barely have any pressure at all. They have to basically fill up giant water containers every day, and it takes hours to do it.
That's insane.
You know,
And on top of that, it's caused a housing crisis in Texas. All these data centers have caused
now
housing.
you were talking, somebody was talking, I forget exactly what it was earlier, about being able to see you in your house or something. Is that, I forget who was talking about that, but it's just randomly, you know, the Wi-Fi, the 5G and the 6G, you know, you can see that makes a picture of your house on the net when you've got Wi-Fi going through your house, because it goes through walls and goes through your rooms.
It's
you-
kind of everybody.
It maps if you see a picture of it, you know, the law enforcement or whatever can use your Wi-Fi and generate a picture of your house on the inside, the layout of your house, and figure out where you are.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
That is.
And they've been doing that ever since they've had Wi-Fi,
Right.
you know. And they're talking about going on with AI centers. To me, everything links up and goes back to one big ball of wax, you know. And
Better not have been a snake falling out of that tree.
a snake,
Right.
yeah, a snake makes a rattling. But it all boils down to control, and you know, the SpaceX we were talking about launching all the satellites. They want the 5G or the 6. They want Wi-Fi on every square inch of the planet, and the data centers are the social credit score, another means of holding people hostage. You know, because they'll be able to one day, if they can do it now. You know, if you got in serious enough trouble, but hey, you know, this is what you were looking at on your phone 7 years ago. You know, you were looking at this, you were looking at that. You know, and
China already has that.
that's illegal. You know,
China has it to where you can't leave the house if you use too much carbon or something like that.
yeah, you're
What the
allotted.
hell?
You're allotted so much. You know,
People don't know this. China is a communist country.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, their people are slaves. All the people. Like we learned that during COVID when they were welding people into buildings.
I remember that. That was wild.
but you see somebody over there in China doing a documentary that's a YouTuber, and everybody's
It's like
acting,
North Korea.
acting normally.
You have to get permission to do it. It's like it's not as bad as North Korea. You can go to North Korea, but you are being watched like a hawk.
Mm-hmm. Didn't somebody get like killed for taking a pamphlet?
It was an American.
Yeah, American.
He came back not normal. They kept him for like 6 months and tortured him.
That's insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
And parents, I don't think they can do anything. What do you want to go to war with one guy from one country?
What are you gonna do if you ain't got millions and millions of dollars to hire lawyers, and if you haven't got any pull?
Can you
and
sue
influence?
from another country?
I don't know.
There's someone in France trying to sue Candace Owens.
Oh my god. Then probably.
Because I can't figure that out. I'm like, if I'm in America, can I sue a Frenchman?
I'm
Probably
sure.
you're just gonna have to go to wherever the situation took place. So if it was in America and you're from France, you're probably gonna have to go to America for the trial.
Well, the French is trying to sue Candace Owens because they're saying Macron, the leader of France, I don't know if he's a prime minister or president or what, but they're saying his wife is a man. That's what Candace has been harping on for months.
Oh, so like slander and
Yeah.
okay.
And they said Candace is a man. There's been people online talking that,
There's been people saying that Candace and Charlie were in a relationship and that's why she won't let it go.
and J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk, and I mean, it
Those
just
two are
goes
going to run
on
for president.
and on.
Those two. It was you that brought that up. You said you watched